Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 190, which is called Escape. So we're in this kind of little mini anime original arc here, in between the anime adapting two of the arcs of the Boruto manga. Now, it does look like it's only going to be like this episode and probably the next one before we're straight back into manga content. So that's good. It's just a really quick, brief thing. They're fitting this in while they can. There's a bit of a gap here in the manga between the team having Kawaki sort of in their possession at the end of the Ao arc and him turning up in the Leaf Village at the start of the next arc in the manga. So this makes sense to just fill everyone in on sort of something did in fact happen with Kawaki in between. And they're establishing here that an escape attempt happened, and it looks like it's going to be pretty quick. Like Naruto's going to be on the scene in the next episode, so they're going to have him back in their possession next episode, I think. So that's all fine, and overall, I'd say that this episode was good, without being anything particularly incredible. In that there's not really too much to talk about here. I appreciated that they're at least setting the stage for a lot of sort of the development Kawaki is going to go through by having him really reflect on the idea of he wants to escape not just from his imprisonment here in the Ninja Tool lab and the being in possession of the Leaf Shinobi, but he mainly wants to escape so he can be free from Jigen, which obviously ties into his backstory, which they recap again here of he obviously had a terrible relationship with his father. His father obviously, as we pretty much get established, kind of abused him because we see he has like bruises and stuff like that as the exchange is being made. And then clearly he is terrified of Jigen based on what Jigen has done to him over their time together as, father and son, quote unquote. So that general arc of setting up Kawaki's lack of trust of everyone because his whole life, the people who should be caring for him, haven't. That's really well done, and so it sets the stage for when is he finally going to trust someone, and who is that person going to be. And so there's a lot of significance around that, and that's a really good character arc, and that's why I think the next arc, when they get into it, basically I suppose after next week's episode, it's going to be some of the more interesting character stuff that they've done in Boruto, because Kawaki's arrival allows you to do this as a detailed character. So I'm very excited to get to the next manga adaptation arc. But like I said, I think they did a decent job here at setting the stage for like, okay, this is the dynamic with Kawaki. He has, by Jigen, literally just been treated like a vessel. And his father, I think, also said that he's like empty, there's nothing inside him. So he's just kind of treated as nothing by everyone around him. So when will someone finally value him as a person, as an individual, and when will he come to trust people? That's good setup. I also liked in this episode that Sumire got a little bit of a chance to shine. Did they necessarily do a lot of character development with her? Not really, but, this is a character who is one of the most interesting sort of this generation of sort of Leaf Shinobi, in that you'd say it's Boruto's team and Shikadai's team, and she's probably the other character. So like that group of 7 is probably the main ones that you actually like care about for the most part. A lot of the other ones are just kind of like, yeah, they're the more minor characters that are, on the other teams. These are the ones you want to focus on, because Sumire was a huge focus in the anime at the very start, and I like that they brought a lot of that stuff up again, of that she can't control Nue when he gets more powerful, when he gets bigger, as she is right now. And that's part of why she sort of joined the Ninja Tool division, is to sort of try and maybe find some way to regain that control over him when he gets more powerful. Because that was a kind of emotional and big part of the episode, was Kawaki gets the advantage over Sumire using some ninja tools that he found as he escapes, and Nue comes in and saves her, but she can't stop him as he's like mauling Kawaki. So Kawaki gets his arm like really badly bitten by Nue. Eventually Nue does calm down, but it's still an interesting setup in that as we go forward in the manga, and I suppose just the series in general, I honestly am expecting something of note with Sumire to happen as we go on, in that this episode ultimately with Sumire just played on that, establishing that she still doesn't have the control over Nue when he gets bigger, and the other side of it I wasn't the biggest fan of because I don't think they executed it too well, which was she, to try and get Kawaki to kind of calm down a bit, reveals that he's in a scientific ninja tool lab, and then the episode very much wanted you to really feel that like Sumire feels responsible for Kawaki's escape attempt, because if he didn't know it was a scientific ninja tool lab, he wouldn't have escaped or had the tools to escape. The problem with that is that he only knows that there are actually ninja tools around to help him escape when he asks to go to the bathroom and sees the other staff members carrying the box of the flashbang grenades around. So can you really blame Sumire for that when he probably would have done that in the first place? So like it's weird. It's like it's blaming Sumire for giving Kawaki maybe a slight extra little bit of hope that he could escape. So I get it. Like it gave her determination to attempt to stop him because she sort of blamed herself for it, and I assume we'll play with that a little bit in the next episode as well. The other thing with that though is that if you connect it to the manga a little bit, I won't spoil the manga, but what they have been doing a little bit in the very recent chapters is perhaps placing some importance on Sumire, like sort of noticing Kawaki and what's going on, like in the recent chapters. Now they haven't really committed to it all that much, but maybe it's a little bit of setting the stage for maybe Sumire will end up interacting with Kawaki a little bit more than we think, because I think in the anime we've already established that she is planning to return to the Leaf Village. So I guess going forward in the anime after a while, she's going to be around. So they can interact a little bit more if you want to. And it would allow them to create like another dynamic that they haven't really had. That we're going to get like Kawaki's dynamic with Naruto, his dynamic with Boruto, of course, they're the main two ones. Might they commit to Sumire as like maybe another character he's kind of close to? Will they go down the romance road? I'm not particularly sure, but maybe it is the stage being set for that. I don't know. We're trying to look ahead here a little bit, but maybe that's me reading too much into just they wanted to make Sumire stand out a little bit, because we're on sort of her home turf here. She works at the Ninja Tool Lab as well, so they wanted her to have this sort of responsibility of trying to get him back. And there's a nice little taijutsu sequence, as she sort of lures him into a false sense of security and is able to get the advantage over him. Obviously, he's weakened at this point, which is why he has to use the ninja tools to escape. But still, it was pretty impressive from her. Again, like you can excuse a lot of what's going on here because Kawaki is weakened from everything that's just happened, and then none of the other characters want to like further injure Kawaki, given that he's sort of in a delicate situation. So that's why no one's going like all out with the jutsus here. So that's that. There's a little bit of confusion surrounding like, okay, he then ends up crawling through the vents. He finds his way to a room where they store obviously a lot of the ninja tools, and he ends up somehow managing to put on one of the jutsu gauntlets, which obviously they make the point that his like hands are like in the kind of binder thing together, and so like how did he manage to put like a gauntlet thing which you actually have to like insert around your wrist on, when it obviously the distance between his hands is kind of like he can maybe just about do it, but he seemed to have it on pretty securely, so it must have taken him a while to do that. There's just a kind of weird one where like they made the point of, oh, can you even eat properly with your hands like that? But he can put on the jutsu gauntlet, no problem. Just a little bit of a a weird one, trying to keep it consistent. I think they could have achieved the same effect with some other ninja tool that he didn't require him to like delicately put it on or anything like that. But that's just being really, really picky about the episode. Um, and when you really break it down, like that's pretty much the episode. Like the result is that Kawaki gets out of the lab and is now escaping into the forest, but he's bleeding quite badly and he's going to be looking for food so it can assist his recovery on his arm. And in general, again, he's still sort of running scared from Jigen. Jigen is the one he wants to get away from. He's not particularly overly concerned about like the people in the lab, but he's more worried about the fact that, if he's with them, Jigen can sort of get at them. So it's going to be about, giving him the confidence to be around the people of the Leaf Village, which is where Naruto comes in. Because by the end of the episode, we see Naruto sort of on his way to the lab. And the preview showed us that Naruto is there in the next episode. So I'm wondering, are they going to maybe change up how Kawaki and Naruto meet? My guess is that they'll ultimately have the chapter when they get to the adaptation part accurate. So my prediction is that Naruto will get to sort of see Kawaki, but Kawaki won't see Naruto until we get to the adaptation part. Again, this is just the first chapter of what we're going to be getting, but like obviously we pretty much go from the end of the Ao arc into Kawaki wakes up in the bed in Konoha and Naruto's like right there, and that's his like first time meeting Naruto. So my guess is that Kawaki is going to like run out of energy, collapse, and Naruto potentially is going to be the one who is the one who finds him, and then in the next episode we cut to the bed in Konoha. That helps to explain sort of why he sort of wakes up so suddenly, in that he felt like he almost escaped. It actually could work out really well if they managed to make the scenes connect up very nicely. But beyond that, I don't really think there's anything much else to talk about here, because it was a pretty standard episode. Like, they didn't really do anything with like Mitsuki or Sarada. Boruto, they tried to make a little bit of a point about like how he grabbed Kawaki's like shoulder a little bit too hard, but it was just, again, playing with the idea. They don't know who he is yet. They're trying to find the right balance of, should they be overly nice to him to gain his trust, or should they still be cautious about him, and that sort of thing. So that's all fine. The scientists, they do briefly again explain how he has a really good regeneration system. He is slowly regaining his chakra, but he shouldn't have enough chakra to use his arm transformation powers or karma mark. So that's the limitations on Kawaki after the major fight that he just had. So they explained all of that stuff quite well, for like why there's no crazy action going on right now. It's pretty basic and to the point. But I think the thing for next episode is basically just how much of like sort of Kawaki's desperation to get away and be free will they get across, and then Naruto, I suppose we will get a little bit of Naruto sort of getting to see Kawaki, maybe follow him from a distance and realize that I kind of have to do something here to set up what happens next. So I think Naruto is probably the main character I'm focusing on. I hope they maybe do something with Sumire, just to continue the extra focus on her while they have it. Boruto, you maybe want to plant the seeds that this is like a friendship that could be a thing in the future. So they'd be the three characters I'd maybe want to focus on: Sumire, Boruto, and Naruto, and we'll see where we go from there. Will we get a cutaway to Kara before we hop into the next arc? Not sure, but they're my thoughts on episode 190. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were. But yeah, just in general, I thought this was good, but nothing particularly impressive. So let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments below. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.